welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Snowman. And this is a brew challenge where I was tasked with putting Minsc and Boo and Comet Stellar Pup into a Stompy style deck. Basically, Snowman misses the cool 4-drop Planeswalkers that used to be really good in Legacy. They've been replaced largely with colorless Planeswalkers, or just things that are not Planeswalkers at all and cost a lot less mana. So I have been put in charge of putting Minsc and Boo and Comet Stellar Pup into a deck. I asked Snowman if he wanted like a control style deck that tops out at these effects or a Stompy style deck that makes them happen quickly, and he voted for one that makes them happen quickly. There are two things that are true about these Stompy style decks in Legacy. One is that we know the formula. We've got Red Stompy, we've got Mystic Forge combo, we've had various White and Boros and Gruul initiative decks present in the format over the years. That's all out there. But most of those decks are not trying to have 3 colors of mana. And the ones that are, there are Naya initiative Stompy decks that play Caves of Chaos Adventure, Undermountain Adventure, and Seasoned Dungeoneer and try to do it all. But we don't see a lot of those decks anymore because we've determined that we can already do that with only 1 color instead of 3. Another thing that's true about all those decks is that Cavern of Souls is a land that you can usually overlap with at least a couple of your creatures, and taps for any color, and beats counterspells. There's nothing like that for Planeswalkers, except for Delighted Halfling, which is in the deck, but there's not a land that gives us that. Additionally, a lot of those multicolor Gruul and Naya initiative decks get to play Once Upon a Time because they're looking for creatures, but I'm not looking for creatures, I'm looking for Planeswalkers. The only creatures in the deck are Manadork's Fury, Emrakul, and Spirit Guides. This was a fun puzzle to approach with both being handed the blueprint for a thing, but also knocking out all the walls on that blueprint and making it just a little weirder than it needs to be. The Halfling, this is my Cavern of Souls, mentioned that already. Birds of Paradise, I've got 2 of those in just to round out because it's going to be really important to get ahead on mana, and it's going to be important to have 2 colors of mana when I get to turn 2. Halflings and Birds are my choices for that. Minsc and Boo and Comet were the ones given to me in the challenge. These are Planeswalkers that can solo a game by themselves. And then I spent some time looking at what other Planeswalker could I put in the deck, and there was an earlier build with 4 Interplanar Beacons, which kind of turned on all Planeswalkers. I had like a crazy build on the cutting room floor with Dovin, Hand of Control, and Ashiok in the sideboard, and I thought that was a little too much. But then I remembered my girl Nahiri. The younger among us might not remember this, but Nahiri was an eternal playable card when it was first released. It was a whole modern archetype. I played it in Vintage. I believe I played it at Eternal Weekend, one of the years it was in Columbus. A Jeskai Planeswalker control deck with Nahiri at the middle in Vintage. 4 mana, +2, discard a card. If you do, you draw a card. -2, exile target enchantment, tapped artifact or tapped creature. And -8, search a library for an artifact or creature, put it onto the battlefield. It gains haste, return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. That's why there's 1 Emrakul in the deck, which might seem like a silly package to include, but Nahiri just getting card selection in a deck that can tend to flood out if its early stuff is blocked. You do need to find the next thing to keep pushing. And there's a bunch of Ancient Tomb style decks that play an Emrakul in the sideboard anyway as insurance against decks like Painter Servant, giving you a little extra against that. And I was already thinking about that, but then Nahiri let me put the Emrakul in the main deck, which opened up a sideboard slot, and we have a cool extra Planeswalker in the deck. It just made sense to my brain. And since we're playing a bunch of Mana Dorks and a bunch of heavy threats, Chalice of the Void didn't make sense. Trinisphere seemed like the best lock piece. This deck can't really support Magus of the Moon or Blood Moon, unfortunately. We are definitely just trying to send it with big, exciting planeswalkers, which is the task that was granted to me, and I've done my best to put it in a shell that makes sense in the format. Let's try it out. This is Snowman's Planeswalker Stompy. I'm on the play in round 1. My hand is all mana. We have to mulligan this one. Oh no, this hand only has 2 mana. Playing these Ancient Doom decks comes with the understanding that you gotta mulligan some large percentage of the time. Okay. This one has a turn 2 Nahiri. I guess I'll keep, and I'll put Emrakul, and I guess it's gotta be Fury. I just need everything that is mana here. Alright, Emrakul and Fury to the bottom. And here the 3 colors are already punishing me. If this was just Gruul, we would have some turn 1 monster. I only have 3 mana, though, of the correct colors. All right, I'll play Inner Beacon and pass. If I had an Ancient Tomb, I would have led on that to protect the Beacon from Wasteland, but City of Traders has a big problem in that it dies. Ruby Medallion. Okay. That artifact is unlikely to be tapped at any point. Oh, okay. Minskin Boo I like better than Nahiri. All right. Red, green. And would I rather have red Spirit Guide or green Spirit Guide left in my hand? Probably red. Minskin Boo. Shame that wasn't on turn 1. But we're at least applying pressure now. We might just die this turn. Hopefully this hand needs a little while to sculpt, but Ruby Storm can go fast if it's required. Jessica's Will. Oh, well. That is just Storm. I only have 2 cards in my hand. Oh, I could have pitched my Spirit Guide. I might have messed up. Bonus round, Ren's Resolve. Yeah, I could have pitched Spirit Guide to stuff them on mana. Desperate Ritual, Ral, bonus round. Yeah, the old Mull to 5 and I'm a Stompy deck combo there actually kind of helped. Okay, I can attack for 4, draw 4, see what happens. Trinisphere is the card I would be looking for. Yeah, I think I should be attacking here. Or, yeah. I'm going to attack first, fling the Boo for another 4, and hope that I draw Trinisphere. Yeah, alright. Game on, kids. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana available. That's a good amount of that. It's City of Traders, play Ancient Tomb, play Trinisphere. Wait, did I miscount my mana? How did that happen? Oh no, I still have 1 floating. That's correct. All right. Make red-white, cast Nahiri. This gains a life, and then I can loot away one of these lands. All right. Can they beat a Trinisphere? They're dead if they can't. And Trinisphere beats Ruby Medallion. The cost is reduced, and then Trinisphere says pay 3 anyway. Yeah, okay. The Mull to 5 against Ruby Storm. Survived, barely. They're the bonus round build, so I don't think Ground Seal is where I want to be. Fury probably doesn't matter at all. I want Disruptor Flute, that's a given. Right, Fury becomes Disruptor Flute. I guess I want Force of Vigor, that can kill a Ruby Medallion. I'm not really doing a lot here, though. I want to keep my mana intact, I want to attack their life total, and I want to disrupt them just long enough to be alive. I didn't see Echo of Eons or anything like that for Pyroblast. I didn't see Past in Flames for Fairy Macabre. I didn't see Lotus Petals for Collector Oof. I'll be honest, I have kind of a brain gap right now on whether the bonus round builds of Ruby Storm play Lotus Petals and LEDs, or if they don't need them because they're focused on red rituals. I guess I should bring in Collector Oof just in case. And I don't think hitting them with Emrakul is going to be my plan. I can shave out some of that. All right, this is my plan. This is a turn 1 Trinisphere. Yep, I'm in. Keep. It'll cost me my whole hand, but I think that has to be okay. Spirit Guide. All right, now I get to keep something. How can I sequence this mana? I guess Wooded Foothills has to get up plains. So Plateau or Savannah. I'm going to have green and red from my Chrome Moxen. Is it more important for me to have double red or double green moving forward? There's 1 double green card in my deck and 0 double red cards. I guess I'm getting Savannah then. All right, Savannah, Chrome Mox, pitch Halfling, Chrome Mox, pitch Spirit Guide. Play Trinisphere, hope it holds. And I need a land to cast Nahiri and start looting, and the Emrakul's not in my deck right now. The son of a biscuit. Alright, well, I'd rather have Comet anyway. So now I'm going to spend a bunch of mana on Chrome Mox to exile Nahiri, and then Comet can get to work next turn. Okay, they just passed without a play. I've drawn all of my Chrome Moxes, every one that I play. It's dog time. Woof woof. I get my Wooded Foothills back to my hand, which actually, isn't the worst. I'll take it. Okay, they're moving to the cleanup step. Officially unable to play cards right now. I'm going to fetch for Taiga in my upkeep. I don't need to draw lands, but I'm going to do it anyway. Comet. I guess it's going to deal 4 damage to my opponent. Oh no. This is not the game to have a bad Comet. If Comet minuses again, it's just dead. I need to hit some good numbers here. Comet. Oh, damn it. Comet, you suck so bad. Yeah, I mean, generally it's ideal to know what your card is going to do when you cast it or put it in a Magic deck. Neither of which are the case here. And if I get Brotherhood's Ended here, we are just in the garbage. Seething Song up to 5. Desperate Ritual. Seething Song. Burning Wish. Yeah, this probably gets like Pulverize or something that can clear the way. Bonus round. Or they just beat the Trinisphere anyway. And now everything is copied, so this can outmuscle Trinisphere. Manamorphoses. Desperate Rituals. Burning Wishes, lots of them. Getting Rite of Flame. And Will of the Jeskai. That is, each player may discard their hand and draw 5 cards. Each instant and sorcery in your graveyard gains flashback. Alright, so they gave everything in their graveyard flashback. This doesn't win the game yet, because Burning Wish exiles itself when you play it. We're going to just see a lot of stuff go on the stack and them eventually rip through their deck. There's 2 bonus rounds in effect now. Reckless Impulse, here we go. Manamorphose, Ruby Medallion, more bonus rounds. So this hand turned out super awkward. Obviously, the Comet just didn't do anything and died. Where if it had applied enough pressure, the game would be different. But drawing the 1 of Nahiri after boarding out my Emrakul. All right, there's Burning Wish. Assume that there's a win con in here somewhere. Fiery Confluence. Yeah, you did it. All right. Well, that was very awkward and silly. Okay. Do I want the Emrakul in just in case I end up in that spot? I don't think so. It looks like Collector Roof doesn't do anything. In fact, Collector Roof might hurt me. So maybe I do just get Nahiri Emrakul back in for free because I don't want Collector Roof in my deck. Right, Fairy Macabre. We did see Will of the Jeskai, which gives stuff in the graveyard flashback. Right, if we're talking about fringe value, do I think hitting them with Emrakul is worth more than Fairy Macabre in a spot where they're going through the graveyard and there's something that can be pinched? I guess getting them dead is probably better with the Emrakul. Okay, let's go. On the play, holding the Emrakul, of course. Disruptor Flute naming bonus round is not bad, or naming... Nah, I'm going to mulligan this. This just doesn't do anything fast enough. This hand only has red mana, and I'm a 3-color deck. Okay, this is the turn 1 Trinisphere again, but do I have anything to back it up? Is this even turn 1 Trinisphere? It would be on 7 cards, but it might not be on 5. If I keep Trinisphere, Chrome Mox, Minskin Boo, Spirit Guide, that doesn't even work. I mean, I can literally cast Trinisphere, but then nothing happens. Maybe I just... What if I bottom Trinisphere? These Chrome Moxes costing 2 cards. I'm in the garbage team. I needed this hand to have a land in it instead of one thing that it does have. Alright, how do I get this Trinisphere into play? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... It can't be a Chrome Mox, so I have to bottom a Chrome Mox and bottom Nahiri. Then I pitch Minskin Boo and exile 2 Spirit Guides and just play play Trinisphere with 1 mana available for the rest of the game and hope that it's better for me than it is for them. I hate this, but okay. Okay, bottom a Chrome Mox, bottom Nahiri. I think I'd rather have red-green under my Chrome Mox than red-white. Is that even true? They're both red. And yeah, green is so much better than white. Yep, alright. So bottom Nahiri. Well, this sucks. And here we see why I don't normally play decks like this. Though, to be fair, all of the things I pointed out in the deck tech are simply true here, which is, if we were a 1 or 2 color deck, we could have kept that 6 instead of mulling a hand that had 4 mana, but none of it was non-red. All right, Delighted Halfling. I'm looking for Ancient Tomb now, or a Spirit, or a City of Traders. Lands in general would be great. Opponents hitting land drops, that's bad news for me. I need them to miss this land drop right now. Okay. We can both play Idiot Magic together. Yeah, alright, game on. Delighted Halfling's in. Now spells work, and I can attack for 1 otherwise. Alright, looking for one of my Planeswalkers. I can cast them all. Might as well double up this Trinisphere. And I'm not going to play that Wooded Foothills that kills my City of Traders until I have something to do with that mana. Okay, they're passing back. No. Alright, I hope this holds for 18 more turns. No, they found a land. Oh, they won immediately last game when they hit their 3rd mana. There's Seething Song up over the top of the Trinisphere, and then most of their cards cost 3 or net mana anyway. Reckless Impulse. Hit a bonus round and a Ral. And Ral is pretty decent. Alright, Delighted Halfling attack. I am going to play the Ancient Tomb and replace the City of Traders. That lets me start playing out other lands. There's Ral. My beatdowns are done. Birds of Paradise. 1. I'm not going to take damage if I don't have to. I'll fetch Plateau now. Or Savannah. Savannah. Birds of Paradise. Pass. Ren's Resolve. Ral triggers. They lost the flip. Mountain. Burning Wish. Burning Wish, pretty good. Not till next turn, though. Do they want to attack for 1? No, they don't. A real card! Oh my goodness. Alright, I'll play Fable and hope to high heavens I'm not dead right now. Alright, Burning Wish. At minimum, I have to imagine this can get something that would clear my Trinispheres. If they can't outmuscle them, alright, bonus round, and they hit their next land. So they're just going to try to outmuscle the Trinispheres next turn. Force of Vigor. I don't think that helps me anymore. Discard Chrome Mox, Force of Vigor. Nahiri has joined the party. Alright, red, white. 1, 2, Nahiri. Plus Nahiri. Discard Trinisphere. Got an Elvish Spirit Guide. I will attack with the creatures that can push damage. And I suspect I'm dead here. Oh, they hit their 6th land as well. Yeah, definitely dead. What I needed here was them not to be able to immediately follow up the bonus round with something, but yeah, 6 lands, the magic number. So they missed land number 3 and then hit the next 4 in a row. All right, you're likely to win. Maybe they'll just lose 13 rail flips in a row. 11 mana in the pool. Another bonus round. Down to 11. 11 rail flips to go. They're putting blue in the pool with the Metamorphoses. Maybe there was a case to bring in Pyroblast after all. I didn't see anything for 2 games. An important thing to note about this game is I didn't mulligan for Trinisphere. Like, that wasn't what happened. I mulliganed for a playable hand, and the one that I came up with just happened to have Trinisphere in it. Alright, I'm not beating 5 Burning Wishes. GG's. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2. I have a turn 1 Trinisphere and the ability to follow up. I'll keep. I need like an actual threat, but I'm at least developing here. Ancient Tomb, Spirit Guide, Trinisphere. We're in. Hope it's good. Windswept Heath. Chrome Mox likely to be a little slow here. Or completely irrelevant, is what I mean by slow. Birds of Paradise. It's like a Chrome Mox that I don't discard a card for. Underground Mortuary. Retrofitter Foundry. Is this some kind of Pox deck? Like a Urza Saga Pox deck? The card Urza Saga would be devastating for me here. Savannah. Alright, deck. Something that does something, please. Not quite, but we're getting close. Right, I'm gonna get Savannah and play Delighted Halfling. All right, Mr. Land Drop. That's my hope this game. Shit. They hit their land drop and it was the best one they could have. Birds of Paradise. Or the Birds of Paradise mirror. Drawing Nahiri right now could exile Urza Saga. That would be so nice. Please, deck. Something good. God dang it. All right. Ancient Tomb. Attack with Delighted Halfling. Play Elvish Spirit Guide. That's where we are. That's where I find myself. Okay, there's that thing. Oh, Devoted Druid combo is what we're playing against. This is at least exciting. All right, so my opponent's going to have infinite mana next turn. Nice Trinisphere, dumbass. The Urza Saga can tutor Luxior, which is an equipment that makes infinite green mana with Devoted Druid. I've seen 13 cards this game and 12 of them were mana sources. That's unfortunate. But they tutored Lava Spur Boots, so they must have infinite mana already in their hand. Yeah, Vizier of Remedies does it. Okay. Well, show me how you win. It takes literally anything here. A Ballista, Green Sun Zenith, Finale of Devastation. Off you go. The way this works, if you're unfamiliar, is if one or more -1 counters to be put on a creature you control, put that many -1 instead, and you can put a -1 counter on Devoted Druid to untap it. So that cancels out, and you can just tap for green, then untap it for no cost. And again, just talking about the construction of the deck while we wait to die here to whatever they got. If I wasn't trying to support 3 colors, these Halflings and Birds of Paradises would just be action spells instead. Like if I'm mono red, this is just like Broadside Bombardier and the One Ring instead of additional mana dorks. All right, Ballista. That's a win condition. Okay, Disruptor Flute, very important. Dead Gone is useful. Force of Vigor can blow up Urza Saga. I might just not even mess with Trinisphere against them. I've got other stuff to do. I mean, Trinisphere on the play is good against basically all decks. But if I got other stuff to do, it gets worse. I think the Nahiri Emrakul stuff is always going to be the slower part of the deck. Maybe I can cut a Bird of Paradise. Okay, I will try this. I have some faith in a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And I am going to fetch for a Taiga. I guess I should get Savannah. It mostly doesn't matter. But getting the land out of the pool of cards I could draw is the minor efficiency here. We could just get turn 2'd without Trinisphere protecting us. This deck does have a bunch of hyper-fast Goldfish options. Chrome Mox right on time. Me forgetting the thing I just said and not fetching Taiga. Okay, Fable of the Mirror Breaker. A, I need to survive this turn. B, Fable, please make my hand good. Saga. Zenith for 2. This is probably Devoted Druid. All right, deck, deliver the goods. We've got 3 looks at a bunch of hits. That's not one of them. I will get rid of Forest for sure, and then City of Traders and Chrome Mox can both represent bursts of mana. And I think I'm good on colors. All right, I'll discard the 2 normal lands. Comet, can you win this game for me right now, buddy? All right, City of Traders. I have to Comet pre-combat, and I need to make white mana to do that. All right, let's get a busted Comet here. Even just like dealing damage to Devoted Druid's fine. All right, I just made 2 squirrels. I guess I'm dead. All right, I'll attack with everything. No blocks, they're not taking any risks on this thing. And all I can do is pass the turn and hope I'm not dead. They've got a fetch land. 4 cards in hand. Putting a -1 counter on Devoted Druid the old-fashioned way. 6 in the pool. This is a Nature's Rhythm for 4. This can give them infinite mana in some variety, and then also tutor a win con afterwards. Alright, you've got infinite mana, then they can Nature's Rhythm for another creature from the graveyard. That creature can't be Walking Ballista though, so they need some other way to win. It's like a Crater Hoof or something. They could probably do better than that. There's the Rhythm for 5. Bright Glass Gearhulk. Sick. All right, we love a Bright Glass Gearhulk in this house. That's going to get the Walking Ballista, and then we're out of here. Okay, so I had some shots at this, and flooded out real bad game 1, and then Comet did not deliver, and deck didn't help. Like Fury, Dead Gone, if Comet hits the right number, any of the Disruptor Flutes, all of those are live there, but Obviously, none of that happened. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw in round 3 versus none other than Thraben Yu, my Eternal Glory podcast co-host, who is doing something with Serum Vision, or Serum Powder. Okay, he's got some sort of Chain of Smog Cosmoglyph deck. I have a turn 1 Nahiri or Comet. Pitch one or the other to Chrome Mox. That gives me white, Spirit Guides red, and City of Traders. I will keep. Alright, Phil has kept 6 cards. I hope none of them are Thoughtseize. Pitch 2 Thoughtseizes to the Serum Powder. There's only 2 in there. Okie dokie. Would I rather have Nahiri getting to work or Comet doing shit at random? And I've been so burned by the Comet doing random shit line. Alright, I'm going for Nahiri. She can immediately start improving my hand. Pitch Comet, City of Traders, red, white, 1-2, Nahiri. I'll discard this City of Traders, probably. Alright, sitting on mana. This is suspend to win the game. Like, when she goes up to 8, if I hit him with Emrakul, that should win the game. But we'll see. This was the way to see the most cards while presenting the fastest clock. Unless I was sure that Comet would 18 my opponent out of nowhere. Which you can never be sure of, because that's how Comet works. Alright, surveilled away a Green Sun Zenith. Once upon a time, it's appropriate that I queue into Phil when I'm playing the most Phil-coded deck that I've played in many, many months. Pretty scary knowing that he's a combo deck, though. Yeah, there's a Witherbloom. Apprentice. Now I need to solve a bunch of problems very quickly. Nahiri, discard this Forest. Oh no, the Re-Nahiri. That doesn't help. Alright, well, float mana, play Taiga, play Birds of Paradise, and hope I'm not dead. One of us is dead this turn. Do you have the Chain of Smog or not? One of them's in exile already. God dang it, Phil. Rite of Consumption is in this deck. Does that mean this is a Dark Depths deck as well? Oh no, that's probably to combo with the Cosmoglyph. Demonic Bargain, exile the top 13 cards of your deck. Alright, you win. You win! You lucky sack of crap. Okay. Dead Gone comes in. And Disruptor Flute comes in. I like Trinisphere. My Phil's deck seems to be operating on very thin margins over there. Fury is good. I think I'm gonna cut some of these Birds of Paradise. And as usual, Emrakul Nahiri coming out, though that did give me the puncher's chance there. Okay, let's go. Becoming Naya control out of the sideboard. On the play, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is just turn 1 Minskin boost. Send it. I'll keep. This is Phil we're playing against. He probably has Mindbreak Trap in his sideboard. Okay. Forest. What is Chrome Mox eating? It has to be Fable or Fury. I guess Minskin Boo can throw the rat on future turns, so I don't really need Fury. Okay. I guess Mindbreak Trap doesn't actually even stop me here. That's great. Exile, exile. Rats off to you. Smash. Okay, am I dying on turn 1 somehow? Is Dark Ritual in this deck? I don't mind getting Thoughtseized here. Good luck with that. Bloodstained Mire. Disruptor Flute. I like that one. I think I'd rather draw a million and have some choices than hit for more. Right, sack Boo. Hit you for another 4. Draw 4 cards. Interplanar Beacon. What's up? And I could play this Fable, or I could hold up Flute plus Dead, which seems to answer a lot of what my opponent is doing. Yeah, I don't want to lose to just like Dark Ritual here. I'm going to pass. Mortuary. Dump to Cosmoglyph. A 0-1 Cosmoglyph. You love to see it. Opponent plays Verdant Catacombs. I'll just go to my turn. If you don't do anything, I don't do anything, because my not doing anything involves Minskin Boo. Gas up the Boo. Attack. Can my opponent possibly beat Trinisphere? I doubt it. I'm just playing 3-ball. You can't even force a Vigor your way out of this and then untap and do anything. Dark Ritual costs as much as it makes. Underground Mortuary, another one of those. What outs are we playing towards here? Even just like land Barrogoyf, it's way too late for that. Kept a card on top. He's got a plan. All right, the plan is concede. Sure. I like that plan. On the draw, I still like Trinisphere. I still like Flute. I don't think anything changes on the draw. I could like board in Birds of Paradise to give myself more mana going into his combo turn. Like if he goes turn 1 something or other, I go Birds of Paradise, he presents Witherbloom, then I have more mana on the turn where I'd have to answer that. But I don't think that's the problem I need to solve. Yeah, I'm just going in with this same deck again. That last hand felt pretty good when I only needed 2 colors instead of 3. Okay, this is a turn 1 Fable that can enable Comet on subsequent turns. Fury is here with plenty of red cards to pitch. I am going to keep this. This hand's pretty soft with Thoughtseize if I lose my Fable. Uh-oh, Chrome Mox. Some acceleration. I don't think we'd seen that yet. Chrome Mox pitching Elvish Spirit Guide feels so good. Just do it forever. Spirit Guide forever. 1-2 Cosmogoyf. Alright, am I going to get hit for 85 next turn? Okay, I'm certainly not going to get hit for 85 next turn. Ancient Tomb, pitch Spirit Guide, play Fable. And I can dead this Cosmogoyf if he tries to exile anything from his deck. I could also pitch Fury and just deal with this now. I think I'd rather do that. Fury pitching Comet. 4 damage to Goyf. I hope you can't exile 3 cards from your deck in response. And I still have dead. I can deal 2 damage to something like Witherbloom Apprentice at instant speed. And I can cast Comet next turn, though that would cost me my dead at instant speed. Alright, Demonic Bargain. That's a Demonic Tutor and 13 cards got exiled. 2 Chain of Smog's gone. I don't know how much that matters. Interplanar Beacon. I'm actually just going to keep my hand. So, Beacon. I'm going to Spirit Guide first. Because Comet's better. Free combat. And then the Treasure can cast Dead Gone if I need to. I roll some dice. Comet has no targets. I've been just rolling as bad as I ever could with Comet here. Alright, let's hope he set up a Chain Kill this turn that I can disrupt with my Dead. Uh-oh. Well, I can Gone that, even if I can't dead it. Delighted Halfling. Okay, Comet, do something, please. It's going to deal 4 damage to something. I guess I choose my opponent. And how do I want to play this? I could try to tempo out. I could just jump block. I guess I got to tempo out. Gone this Goyf. Attack. Now my shields are down to Witherbloom. But I'm just going to play my cards and hope I can get over here. All in. Big Cosmogoyf's back. Fury. Not the most helpful. Comet, please do something. Alright, 2 squirrels. I like squirrels. The Cosmogoyf is 14 power. I do not have the ability to cast Fury. Neither the ability nor interest to cast Fury here. We've seen Rite of Consumption, which means the next 1 damage I take or the next 1 card my opponent exiles could be lethal. There's 4 mana, now I might just die to the Witherbloom combo. Okay, doesn't have Witherbloom combo in hand. The 2 Chain of Smog's already gone. Once Upon a Time. Witherbloom Apprentice in hand. Oh no. Alright, well. The information continues. I can play around Witherbloom Apprentice combo by casting Fury next turn and having a mana up to copy it. And to do that, end step copy Goblin Shaman. And then go to my turn. Okay. Activate Comet. I'm dealing 4 damage to somebody. And now, do I have lethal? It's close. If I copy Goblin Shaman, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. I guess I'll just try to win. Alright, attack with everybody. I make enough treasures to cast Fury if I need it, but I'm just hoping this attack does enough. Whoa, alright, what a slugfest. Large Cosmogoyf, not good enough. Tempo, Planeswalker beatdown. We did it. We're on the board. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play in round 4 with a hand that, once again, has green and red mana, but not white, and I drew 2 white cards. 3 might be too many colors for this type of deck. And now I have to think for a second and do some math about how many white sources I play versus how many red cards I'd be happy drawing here. All right, the cards I'd be happy to draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So I'd be happy to draw 1 out of 3 cards in my deck. I think I'm just going to mulligan. Disappointing. All right, I'm in for this one, and obviously bottoming Emrakul. But what if I'm against Show and Tell? All right, I'm still bottoming Emrakul. I'm going to lead on Delighted Halfling and just pretend I'm Nadu Breakfast. Mox Diamond. Dumping Wasteland. Thoughtseize. All right, what are you more worried about? So this might be Loam Pox, which would be sick. Decks that have Wasteland, Mox Diamond, and Thoughtseize in them in 2025. They dumped a land despite knowing I'm about to shove a Trinisphere. That means they know something that I don't. Or they know enough that this is fine for them. I'll get Taiga, and I'm still going to play the Trinisphere. It must be done. If they just follow up with Liliana or whatever, land Liliana, it's bad news. Urza Saga, also bad news. And Thoughtseize is such a good card. Smallpox, sure. I was prepared for this possibility. I'll discard City of Traders, and I'll sack Basic Forest. Alright, deck. We're back in. Birds of Paradise. Now I need to draw 1 of my 10 Planeswalkers. And I'm doing stuff. I can cast them all. I really hope they don't have the land here. They do. Not only do they, but it's Wasteland. Are they going to develop this saga or just try to screw me? Loam targeting Wasteland. Okay, so they're going for this group land. Big draw. Shit. Right, this game is no longer winnable. They're just going to Wasteland everything out from under me for the rest of the game, and I'm stuck under my own Trinisphere. All right, Loam Pox. At least this league has been awesome. Shout out to every single one of my opponents so far for playing dope decks. I don't like Urza Saga. Trinisphere is very dangerous, as we just witnessed. Ground Seal turns off life from the Loam. That's great. Yeah, cards and graveyards can't be a target of spells or abilities. I like Ground Seal. Collector Oof has text. Disruptor Flute can hit things like Liliana and Urza Saga. It could even just like name life from the Loam and make it cost 5 instead of 2 in a pinch. Mana Dorks are traditionally bad versus Loam, or bad versus Smallpox, but my deck kind of needs them to function. Okay, I think Disruptor Flute might be better than Collector Oof, and I'm going to mitigate a little bit on these Birds of Paradise. That's just a really bad way to get smoked. All right, I'll try this. My job is to do something big that gets ahead of their deck, and Planeswalkers are terrifying for decks like theirs. All right, I will keep this. It's slower than I want, but it does work. I even have the basic forest. I could Disruptor Flute Wasteland if I need to. So this is turn 1 nothing, turn 2 Ground Seal or Disruptor Flute, turn 3 Minskin Boo. Opponent went to 6. Humidian Hatchery, nice one. All right, Interplanar, Beacon, and I might just disrupt Smallpox here, or I'm going to get the Ground Seal in. This is a cantrip at minimum. Bladed Halfling. Yeah, if they Smallpox me here, I'll just sack a Beacon. They put a counter on Hatchery in the end step. Wasteland's pretty decent. Ooh, all right, now you're in trouble. It's Minsk and Boo time. All right, Minsk and Boo. Hopefully this one gets it done. This is exactly the type of card that Lonepox struggles really badly against. Smallpox here will kill my Boo. It'll make them 2 1/1 bugs. I'm probably discarding Comet here. I could discard Disruptor Flute. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to discard Flute and sack City of Traders and just try to maintain stable resources here rather than try to go fast and sprint over the finish line. Even though I'm also doing that with this play. Spirit Guide. Right, juice up my hamster. Interplanar Beacon. I'm a mana short of Comet, but I can do that next turn. Blood Sandmire, fetch down to 8. Malevolent Rumble. Eumidian Hatchery, Urza Saga, Underground Mortuary, and a blocker. They took Saga. Okay, cool. They realize they're just dead. Right now I'm on the draw where everything's worse. I don't think I have a different plan here. These are the cards that I've got. And I'm going for it. A hand that is terrible against Smallpox, but has reasonable resources to deploy. Mortuary. Dumped Hogak. Alright, they're the Hogak build. That rules. Okay, big swing here. If they have Smallpox, this sucks. If they don't have Smallpox, I'm doing great. It's all in right here. Thoughtseize, I don't mind. That makes, I mean, if they take the Fable, my curve is worse here, but at least I didn't get Smallpoxed immediately. So they are Mox Diamond deck. That may still happen. Saga. Pithing Needle. Can name Wooded Foothills with this. Nahiri. Alright, so they're protecting their Urza Saga. Land the Re-Halfling. Back for 1. Get my points so I can get them. And Thoughtseize Pithing Needle feels like Gitaxian Probe Cabal Therapy. That was nasty. Okay, I see the plan unfolding here. But now I can hardcast Fury. Are they going to deal with Comet somehow as well? Looks like they are. Alright, I'm going to let Needle resolve. They're going to name Comet, but like if they name Wooded Foothills instead, I can trick them. Wasn't a very good trick, though. Chrome Mox. Well, that puts my awful Planeswalkers to use. Do I have any artifact removal in my deck right now? The Force of Vigors are in the sideboard, so these cards truly don't matter. I'll play Taiga, and I'll Chrome Mox exiling Comet. I think Comet is better if somehow these Pithing Needles go away. But I don't like my chances here. But I do have resources under me. They've not made a construct yet. Alright, there it is. Is there a third Pithing Needle? Mox Diamond. Okay. Discarded Swamp from hand. Seiju. On deck. Oh yes, Fury is one of my best draws I could hit rip. That was a good one, and it's not 1 second too soon. Okay, fetch Taiga. That might have just swung the game. Fury. 4 damage. And attack for 1. They've got 1 card in hand. They're pretty far away from doing anything with that Hogak in their graveyard. And Fury has them dead in 2. Oh, Bowmaster. Alright. So there they decided to use Bowmaster to chump Fury for a bunch of turns, rather than trade off with Halfling, and I agree with that. Halfling is not your problem here. And Bowmaster casts Hogak. Alright, yeah, that Bowmaster immediately turns the corner on Hogak. That's sick. Oh no, did you draw an actual card too? Jesus, that was good. Alright, I'll discard Comet, sack a Halfling. I guess I have to sack Forest. Can't play around Wasteland here. And all I can do is pass. This game's actually really interesting because they're not in a position to race me. Or, I guess with the Bowmaster chumping a turn, they can. Their creature tramples, mine doesn't. Thoughtseize. Alright. You're at 9. Okay, so if I attack with both, I'm dead on the backswing. So I have to attack with just Fury. And if they're going to chump Fury anyway, then I just missed a point, but that would just be a bad play from them. That's not like a strategic decision I can make, is hoping that they mess up. All right, I'm going to go to 1 here, and I don't even know what my outs are. I don't think I have any. Dead Gaun's not in the deck. Oh god, they drew a spell. Please cast Smallpox. They didn't cast Smallpox. All right, GG's. That Bowmaster turning on Hogak was everything on that final turn. Sweet tech. On to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in the final round. This hand is way too fair. I'm going to mulligan. This one does not cast spells either. Mulligan. All right, we got to stop somewhere. I'll keep this and bottom Ancient Tomb and Taiga. I could bottom a Comet instead. I think I'd rather bottom Taiga. I have more mana in my deck than I have threats. Like if something gets countered or discarded, I'd prefer to have a backup Comet to a backup land. All right, passing the turn. Fetching Dryad Arbor. That was in my main phase. Unfortunately, I can't punish that. Right, decks with Misty Rainforest and Dryad Arbor could be Nadu, the mid-range Zenith Nadu. Could be Cradle Control. Ugh, this is an awkward mana development, but I'm not doing a good job punishing it. They could Thoughtseize me here. Or Zenith for 1. Sightcat Cub. Okay. I guess I'm just casting Comet this turn and hoping for the best. Birds of Paradise. Alright, fetch. I should get Savannah here, because that can replay the bird next turn. And I just need a white source to cast my spell at all. Nahiri, unfortunately with the Sightcat Cub, I can't exile the Dryad Arbor and have Nahiri survive. Alright, big money, big money. How about a 6? We haven't had one of those yet. Alright, I get my Wooded Foothills back, and good chance Comet just dies next turn. What a terrible card. Back when Comet first came out, and people were trying to figure out if it was good, this was one of the most debated cards. There were people who I trust who said this card is completely unplayable, and there were people who I trust who said this card is busted. And it turns out the answer to that is probably how lucky are you? Are you the type of person who rolls consecutive 6s, or are you the type of person who regrows their Wooded Foothills when they need to kill a Dryad Arbor? All right, floated mana, crop rotation. So Cub can definitely get big enough here. A fetch land does it by itself. Though how they follow this up will be interesting, because now that I have the mana for Nahiri, I can exile Sightcat Cub on my next turn, and Dryad Arbor is not big enough to kill it on its own. So they'll need to add another creature to the board, or play another land this turn and make Dryad Arbor... Or no, making Dryad Arbor bigger doesn't help. Yeah, they need another creature this turn to not get their cat slurped up. Skyclave Pickaxe, let's go. Oh, this is just mono green landfall aggression. I'm into that. Okay, am I going to die here? Whenever a land enters, equipped creature gets +2/+2. Okay. And they didn't have an actual land drop from hand. Either they didn't have it or they're not willing to use it yet. Because if they have one land left, no, they wouldn't have just fired off that crop rotation if they had an actual land to play. This costs 3 to equip. That's a lot. Okay, I'd like to use Wooded Foothills to get a land out of my deck here. I can get the Plateau now that I've drawn Taiga. White, red, Nahiri doing something big in a game for the first time. Exile target tapped creature. They could have like Spirit Guide crop rotation to save this somehow, but I'm just going to hope they didn't. And it turns out they did not. Zaz Chocobo. Okay. I've played with that card in Legacy before. Do they suddenly have a land that they didn't have last turn? No, they do not. All right. The Dryad Arbor beats, take a point out on Nahiri, but I'm doing big Planeswalker energy now. Interplanar Beacon. That's some passive life gain here. I think I want to Nahiri discarding Taiga first, and then I'll see if I draw something better than Comet. Okay. Interplanar Beacon. Make red-white. Leaving up mana for Birds of Paradise. Comet, I gain a life. Roll some dices. Cool, I get to blow something up now. Alright, I will kill Dryad Arbor. And then I'll play my Mighty Blocker Birds of Paradise. Planeswalker Control kicking in. We know my opponent's hand is all spells because they've missed their last 2 land drops in their landfall deck. Have to imagine this deck has significant burst damage capabilities. Something like Legolas's Quick Reflexes could kill my Bird of Paradise and put some damage on a Planeswalker. If they have a fetch land, they can actually kill one of my Planeswalkers while they do that. Scale up. Okay. This is a 6/4. Chocobo is 7/5. If they have Berserk, I'm dead. I really hope they attack one of Planeswalkers here, though I don't think that even makes sense to do. All right, Chocobo goes up to 8. And do you have Berserk? I'll block. There it is. Yep, Berserk. That is the one card they could have, and they had it. So if I go after Dryad Arbor instead of Chocobo, that's 4 less damage. I'm still dead. And they have more mana to play otherwise. Okay, yep. Like I said, they're capable of burst damage. Surprise. All right, my removal comes in. Trinisphere looks great here. I don't think I'm going to bring in Disruptor Flute. Like, what do I even name? Just Berserk in the blind? I don't think that's how we do that. I could shave Birds of Paradise and Emrakul. Nahiri's minus actually big enough in this matchup that I don't even need Emrakul in my deck to justify it. Okay, let's go. This is kind of slow, but it's very stable. I'll try it. I'm going to fetch Savannah here. I'm very interested in an Ancient Tomb or a Spirit Guide, something that accelerates a little bit. Sylvan Safekeeper, okay. Their creatures are safer. Cool, all right. It's Comet time. I'll take the life gain off Interplanar Beacon. White, red, yep, that works. Red, white. I didn't even need to do that, but I did it. All right, Comet, get in there. Please do something. All right, big rolls, big rolls. Squirrels, I'll take them. I'm going to attack with one of the squirrels. I'll leave one back just in case. I don't want to get burst damaged by combat. If, like, I want them to have to give it trample somehow if I get combo killed. I'm pretty sure Sylvan Safekeeper can't save things from Comet. Like, when you activate the ability is when they would have to decide if they're going to save a creature or not. And then once you roll and hit 4 or 5, the damage all just happens. I'm medium confident that that's how that works. All right, Comet, let's go. Good rolls, good rolls. All right, we got a 6. First of my bonus rolls. Cool. I will now kill Dryad Arbor. Nothing they can do about it. Additional roll. I'll kill Sylvan Safekeeper. Yeah, okay. It does work how I wanted. Quite happy with that. Red, white, Nahiri time. I'm going to loot away Ancient Tomb. And do they have a second Dryad Arbor to fetch and blitz me out with? Maybe. I'm going to attack with one squirrel. I'm just going to be extra careful here. Comet finally delivering. Nahiri, I don't have Emrakul, but I still have Fury. Like, it's not like her ultimate doesn't do anything here. Like, Fury arriving, killing their board, attacking for 6, then jumping back into my hand to do it again. Not bad. 5 for 5 on awesome opponents this league, by the way. Just all really cool off-meta decks. I like it. Okay, so they just surveilled to the top and then fetched away the card they surveilled to the top. Scythecat Cub is in. All right, I'm going to Nahiri first. I'll discard this Ancient Tomb. Found a Spirit Guide. Comet, do your thing. All right, we hit the damage roll again. Just full maximum hit rate on Comet this game. All right, I'm going to attack with everything, and I'm just going to play Elvish Spirit Guide as a creature. Green is not normally known for its haste, though there is some in there. Another Cub. Step Links. This is going to be an insane Fury coming out of this Nahiri. Unless I just draw one. I'll take that too. Minsc and Boo, Timeless Heroes. All right, let's see what Comet does first. It's going to regrow one of my permanents. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can make it 7. I don't need to make it 7. All right. I'll take the Wooded Foothills. And yeah, Nahiri's going to pop. I'd like Fury out of my deck. 3 and 1 here. All right, their stuff is gone. This is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. Okay, they're happy with that. They don't need to see the Minsc and Boo. All right, last game of the match. For all the marbles. They are hyper aggressive. Do I think having Birds of Paradise in just to make sure I'm keeping up and can cast my spells as much as possible? Does that make sense? The problem is what I would cut at this point. I probably don't need Basic Forest in this matchup. But do I think an extra land is worth more than an extra dork? I don't. All right. I think Birds of Paradise is better than Forest for this matchup. And let's get it. Okay, I like this hand, knowing the matchup. This is a turn 2 hardcast Fury. I hope I don't get turn 1'd. Misty Rainforest, First Savannah, Step Links. All right, that's one of the burstier ones. Minsc and Boo. Right, well, I'm just playing Birds of Paradise. I can just fling Boo for 1, like play Minsc and Boo, pick off Step Links, draw a card. But I think casting Fury is going to be so much better than that. All right, I hope they push damage with the fetch land here rather than leave it up for protection. Because if they leave the fetch land uncracked, I can't kill 2 creatures next turn. I only get 1. Okay, they are pushing the damage. This is exactly 4 toughness in play on my turn. But like a crop rotation blows that out pretty hard. Another Chocobo, sick. All right, great. Great. So they would need like Spirit Guide Chocobo here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cast Fury. I could make them have lands forever on the Step Links. Like, I'm definitely putting 3 on this Chocobo. But where am I putting the other one? On this one that can grow slowly but permanently, or this one that can be bigger than Fury all at once? I think I'm going to go after the Chocobos. And the fail case of that turn, if they went like Spirit Guide, Crop Rotation, save their team, I just pitch the other Fury and kill everything. And Fury does still trade with Step Links, even with double landfall. I will offer it on that altar of sacrifice, because I have another one I can cast next turn. Like, they need a pump spell to beat Fury with Step Links. They can just trade it. Dryad Arbor. Hope I don't get berserked out here. That is how this falls apart. Scale up is 10, Berserk is 20. Yeah, I mean, if they have Scale up Berserk again, they win. The Lynx is getting rowdy. I am blocking all day, every day. I would actually love if they used Crop Rotation to save it. Berserk. All right, so they're pushing 5 damage through and losing their creature. That's fine. Please play another creature into my Fury. Play another creature. Just put something into play. Anything at all. Boring. Okay. I can just Fury the Dryad Arbor. I could also cast Minsc and Boo and throw Boo at the Dryad Arbor. That gets blown out by any pump spell. But then they're not pumping on my turn, so I'm not worried about it. Okay. I'm going to play City instead of Ancient Tomb to conserve my life total, because that is what this game's going to be about. Minsc and Boo. Sacrifice a creature. Sacrifice Boo. Deal damage here. Alright, and that just worked. Just playing careful control. Don't get cheesed out. That's the way I lose this game, is if I just get like 10-balled out of nowhere. Talon Gates. You can zoot out my Birds of Paradise if they want. My bird. It's translucent now. The Cub. It'll make a fresh rat on my turn. Gas it up. And I'm going to make sure that Fury kills this cat before I attack with Boo. These are the things I intend to do this turn anyway. So I'm just going to do them in the order that protects me from the most things. 4 damage to this. Cool, we did it. And I will then attack for 4. I don't know how we lose this game from here, but I'm not ruling anything out. They're on a brew. Anything could happen. There might be some pump spell from a commander set that I don't know about that's just like target creature gets +5/+5 in haste. It says Delve 16. I don't know. All right, 4, 10. This is a lethal. Attack plus fling is lethal here. They're at 3. Thank you for your service, Minsc. You're out of here. Sacrifice Boo. 4 to you. And they're dead. We did it. What a sick league that was. I know I said it a few times, but 5 opponents all bringing interesting decks. Made with my wonky brew here. My takeaways on the deck itself, I think if you just pick 2 of these 3 colors, this could be something. Even if we ignore the existence of Undermountain Explorer and Caves of Chaos Adventurer and Seasoned Dungeoneer, the whole initiative package, if we ignore the One Ring, all the things that people normally cast off of Cavern of Souls, Ancient Tomb kind of decks, and we want to specifically play with Planeswalkers, Comet and Nahiri are doing enough that you can do a Boros build of that. There's a bunch of other things you can do as well. If you, depending on how interesting you want to make it, like you could play Dovin or that fella that gives you hexproof and minuses to make walls. I don't know. Like there's stuff you can do against the metagame. If you're maxing out Interplanar Beacon, it's not actually that hard to splash Ashiok in the sideboard out of a deck like this. If we just go Gruul, there's Chandra Torch of Defiance. There's a bunch of Chandras you could play. There's a bunch of Domries as well, but most of them care about you having creatures, so maybe we don't have enough support for that, but, you know, do a Scryfall Dig. The red Ancient Tomb base supports stuff. We know that. That's proven in Legacy. The Simian Spirit Guide is a pretty busted card. Elvish Spirit Guide, pretty busted card. I think you want to build your deck to let them do their job. If you have to mulligan Spirit Guide hands because the spell you want to cast is white, that stinks. But as far as parts of the deck that did work, Minsc & Boo was a unit every time he showed up. I don't think we lost a game where Minsc & Boo was involved. Interplanar Beacon helped me cast stuff a bunch of times, and passive life gain, a good 2 to 4 life in a couple of games could be the difference. I do like the Trinisphere as the piece of disruption. If you don't have a ton of slots for disruption, this one did feel like it was doing a lot. I don't know that I won any game where I cast Trinisphere, but if we, balance the rest of the deck better to have a higher threat density, maybe a little less mana. And if you're only playing 2 colors, you don't need Birds of Paradise and Delighted Halfling to fix. You can just focus on Spirit Guides, Chrome Moxes, and your lands, and then you get a bunch more slots for threats. I think I'm going to leave this one here. I took a shot with the challenge I was given, and I am not embarrassed by the result, though I will say, cut one of the colors if you're going to continue working on this. Snowman, thank you for the challenge. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.